So I understand you're planning on getting Source Filmmaker, so I'm making this little tutorial so that you know like the basics of how to use it. So this is what you'll see when you first open it, and I should warn you that for me at least the text is incredibly tiny. So first you obviously just want to create a session, as they call it. All you really have to do is name it and click the create button. Then you have to wait for this stuff to load in, which can take a couple seconds. So once that's loaded in, you have to right click this area and then click load map. Now, as I said before, most of these maps are TF2 stuff, but one that you can use just for basic stuff is the stage. So then you'll wait for that to load in, which again can take a couple seconds. And then once that's loaded in, you're going to want to either click the screen or click this no camera button. Just switch it over to the work camera. And if you're wondering how I got the two monitors set up, go to Windows, Layouts, and this is the motion editor, or the motion editing view. Or apparently you can click Control F3. Yeah. The default layout looks like this. So anyway, once you get your camera where you want it, you're going to want to hit this plus button and click on create animation set for new model. Now, keep in mind, and if you want models that aren't available with the default, you're going to need to download them from the Steam Workshop. So open Steam, go to Community, Workshop, and then you can either scroll through until you find Source Filmmaker, or you can just type sour, and it'll be the first one. And then just search for what you want. And then you can just click this little plus to subscribe to it. It doesn't cost anything. You literally just press the button, and then you'll get this pop-up saying that you've downloaded the thing. You might get a second pop-up saying that it conflicts with something you already have. I usually just press the no to all button, and then this will pop up when all of it's done. So now you're gonna want to import the new model, or just import whatever model you have. And then once you imported the model, it'll set up your actual camera. So you have two cameras: camera 1, which is what we're currently looking at, and the work camera, which just allows you to move around and do what you want. So now, once you want to actually move the character, you're going to want to click on this button, which will open up the motion editor. And the screen space is like how long it'll take for the character to do the movement. Like when it's all filled in with these ridges on the side, you're just making changes, meaning like it'll start this way. So what you want to do to access this is press and hold the Control key, and then just click on what you want to move. For this particular Octoling model, the BP root it'll basically just move the whole thing. For some reason, by default, it'll start you with this button, But if for basic movements like directional straight movements, I would use this one, and it'll bring up this thing. Then just click and hold whichever way you want to move it, and yeah. So obviously this isn't the solution for everything, because if you want the octoling to hold our hands at our sides, it's going to be really hard to do that with this. So you're going to want to click on the rotate tool, and it'll bring up this thing. So now it's just a simple matter of clicking the direction you want the arm to rotate, and rotating it down like that. Oh, and I forgot to mention, but to move the camera, you click and hold the left mouse button, and you can look around, and to move it, it's just WASD. You can use the Z and X keys to move up and down, and I use the terms up and down loosely because when you're looking directly down on W, well, you get the idea. So now you'll notice that the motion editor has turned orange after making these adjustments. So once that, if you want to finalize the adjustments, you just hit the Enter key, and obviously Control Z to undo anything. Now if you wanted to add clothing to your octoling, you would have to bring up a new animation set and type in whatever it is you're searching for until you find it. Obviously, these Splatoon clothing models will work better with Splatoon models, unlike these TF2 models. You get the idea. So, like, if we wanted to give her a jacket, okay. Just drag it on top of the model, make sure that she's actually wearing it. And also, it helps if you line up all of these little joints with the existing ones on the model. At least in my experience, it's better if you do that. So they don't have to be perfect, just as close as possible. And now, once you've done that, you're going to want to click on this plus button to open up the various subsections, I guess, and then open each of those up, because there's still a problem. The arm and the sleeve still move independently. So then what you're going to want to do is open up the required areas for each section and drag the octoling's root transform onto the jacket's root transform. This is an important step because then you can just click on the octoling's BP root and move it. Well, theoretically, it'll work better when it's all done, but that'll make it so that you can move the octoling to move the jacket and not the other way around. So basically, make sure you lock the octoling to the jacket and not the jacket to the octoling. And then you just drag and drop the correct sections onto their counterparts. Now, in this unknown section, it gets a little more complicated. So, like for these first ones, that is just from the octoling's pelvis down to spine 3. And if you make a mistake, you can just unlock it and try again. So then once you've done all this, once you've completely filled it out, the jacket will mimic the octoling's movements pretty perfectly. So for now, I'm just going to get rid of that and set her back to her stationary position. So now for the face controls, it's a little different. What you're going to want to do is you want to click on this unknown area, and this list of stuff here will come up. And a lot of these are sliders. Just like to open our eyes, you just have to move the sliders for the upper eyelid and lower eyelid to the point where you want them. If your model is fixed or working how it's supposed to, these should be green. For some reason it's still missing the textures, as you know. But yeah, you're just going to want to open our eyes. If you wanted to, you could also use this slider to hide the white eyelid mark, which like if you want a more serious expression could be handy, because like this looks really happy, this looks normal, I guess. So now we've got her starting out like this, but how do we actually make her move? Because right now if we click the play button, she's just going to be standing there forever. Those glitches are fairly normal. I have no idea how you fix that. So to get her to move, we're going to want to set a specific time for the motion editor thing. So what you're going to want to do is click and drag this green area. So let's say a certain action takes her like half a second. This will be 12 frames. So, this won't make a smooth movement. It'll be like pose 1, and then she'll snap into pose 2. So for an actual movement, you're gonna want to drag it. You're gonna want your mouse to look like this, and not like this. So then you drag that to the starting point of a movement. So now we have pose 1 at the start with 0, and then at half a second we can add a movement. So just use the rotator tool to get her to where you want. Obviously this is just my way of animating. You can do it frame by frame, but that takes a lot more time. This style, from what I can tell, is known as pose-to-pose animation. So now, her raising her hand will look like this. And then just keep doing it. Just rinse and repeat until you have a full animation. And you can adjust the times for longer actions. Like if we want her to tilt her head and close her eyes, then we can do that. And we can also make her smile using these face controls. So now our full movement looks something like this. Well, you can see how it's supposed to look. And then enter to lock it in. And then you can just go into this to see the whole animation. Yeah, obviously at first it's going to be a bit janky, but with time you should get the hang of it. This is just for basic movement. You can also add cameras, like if you wanted to lock onto something that's moving, and lighting, particle systems, which I can't get to work, but I'll probably cover those in a different thing, because they shouldn't take as long. So yeah, that's all for today, I guess. I hope this helps in some